Greetings and salutations, everyone. We are back with our. We are here with our State of the Association address, and I'm using a different program, so hopefully this is all working. You should be seeing what I am seeing right now on my screen, as well as me down in the lower right-hand corner, I think. But this is our thing we're going to go over today. A article by ABC News: 10 winter health myths. 10 winter health myths busted. But first, before we do that, housekeeping. So, those that have been tuning in for them, the CRN events that we've been doing on YouTube, those have been kind of, I don't know what they have been in and out as far as whether we've been able to broadcast or not. That's mainly because we had a few holidays. We had Thanksgiving come up, and then we had people not there for that one. We had our annual get together that we have, or just meet and greet and potluck breakfast is what we had this year, over at the Adult Education Center there in Van Buren. And that was something that everybody was looking forward to getting to go to, and it was something that wasn't really kind of appropriate to broadcast. We weren't really talking about business per se, but it was a business meeting. So that one we obviously did not get everyone, but we definitely wanted to. Sorry, I was fiddling with my deal there. I need to go backwards. I'm on the wrong thing. Previews for those that are watching. Okay, there we go. Hey, why did I do that? It's weird. I got weird slides on that. Anyway, we'll come to that in a minute. First off, announcements about the CRN. We are going to continue to do those. We are going to pick those back up. I brought it up that day, and everybody was like, yeah, let's continue to do that. Let's go ahead and keep broadcasting those. So we will be. So if you are interested in having a video to share your business or things like that, go ahead and come to the CRNs, because we will be back at normal place at the Sweet Bay Coffee on Rogers across from Creekmore Park that day on next Tuesday, like normal. Let me see. There's also an announcement from my mom wanted me to announce a couple things for her, and let me see. They are two things happening, she has told me. So this Saturday, the 10th, we're having our doTERRA family team thing get together. Our holiday event is what we call it, and it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 2. So we'll have kind of like a lunch, you bring what you want type thing, and we share and mix and mingle and stuff. If you want more information about it, like where it is, when it, what might need to be brought, and things like that, just go ahead and get with us. You can either get with me through my contact information, or you can get with Mom also. Jackie is her name, Jacqueline. And she is on Facebook also. So if just touch base with one of us, and we can get you that information. Also, Tuesday, the 13th, is actually going to be a neat little get-together at the Egg and I. It's going to be a make-and-take. It's called Scents for the Holidays. And it's going to be a make-and-take class from about 11 a.m. to 2. So if you want to not just come to a class and learn about essential oils, but also get to take something home with you, yep, that would happen, but also get to take something home with you, then that would be a good thing. And yeah, so that's what we have going on. That's what's going on right now anyway. I do not have any events for the Eden Wellness Alliance coming up this month. We purposefully don't do things in December simply because everybody's doing lots of other things in December. So if you have things that you want to have come up, or topics or things like that that you want to have me cover, you can either send them to me send them to me via email and say, and in the subject line put requested topic or something along those lines, and I'll know what I'm looking for. And we'll see if we want to put together a full class on it, or if we want to cover it here on the live broadcast, or what we want to do. So, with all that being said, we can now move on to the subject of our topic today, the topic of our stream today, which is this article from ABC News, 10 Winter Health Myths Busted. Now, the first one that they list off is that cold air can make you sick. And they say, despite being called the common cold, lower temperatures won't make you sick, and that's true. It's and they go as far to say, in fact, the opposite is true. Cells that fight, and they quote here, cells that fight infection in body actually increase if you go out into the cold, says Rachel C. Vreeman, MD, co-author of Don't Swallow Your Gum, Myths, Half-Truths, and Outright Lies About Your Body and Health, which I may have to look into that little gem of an item and give you guys a review or something like that. But she's right, it doesn't. Cold air doesn't make you sick. Okay, it doesn't even promote sickness. In fact, a lot of people that live in the cold have really good immune systems, and they don't get sick. Those people that do the those people that do the somewhat crazy polar bear plunges and stuff like that, a lot of the times they're pretty hardy people. They don't often get sick because their body is constantly exposed, well, not constantly, but often exposed to cold, and it just combats it better. Infections and things like that really don't grow well in the cold, and your body knows that. And something also important to understand, that if you've had something once, your body remembers it. Those little cells that fought it kind of keeps them. It keeps little remnants of their information in your cerebrospinal fluid. So all that fluid in there in your nervous system, in the very core of your nervous system, is telling it, we've had this before, we've had that before. So, and it will behave stronger when you get the cold. They do mention that most viruses grow best at 91 degrees. And if you're outside in the cold, your nose or your mucous membranes are not 91 degrees. And that's where a lot of your interaction with, we'll say, external stimulation from those viruses happens. That any kind of invasion happens a lot in the mucous membranes. So that's important to understand, that 91 degree area is not going to be often where your body is in its temperature, in those areas anyway, in the cold. So we'll try not to spend we got 10 things to go to, so we'll try not to spend too much time on each of them. The myth, you shouldn't exercise in the cold. This is also something that you don't want to fall into. We talked about that last time also. Last time we covered things similar to this, in our effects of cold weather on your body. The myth is, if you exercise in the cold, it'll cause cramps and stuff like that. That's not really accurate. They cite they actually say that it's great to run in the cold, and it's great to run outdoors. I think this is more of this isn't just a fact of it being cold, it's also a fact of it being outdoors, which is important. Running indoors and running outdoors is not the same thing. That's important to understand. They cite something. It says, according to research published in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise, I assume that's a publication, a periodical of some kind. In cold temperatures, race times are actually faster, and quicker paces burn more calories in less time. Plus, that harder, faster workout can spike your endorphin levels, which, according to the Review in Environmental Science and Technology, are already increased just by you being outside. So, pardon. That's really a good point. That's important. that your body is performing better, not might be performing better, but is performing better because it's outside. And it's not, I would contest that it's not necessarily cold, but just being outside in the environment and training outside in the environment. That this is something that serious athletes understand. You don't go to, if you're going to have a competition in a cold area, you don't train in a warm area. You train in a cold area. You train in a place that has similar climate because you want to acclimate your body to performing in that climate. Well, the same can be said for us just in general life. We don't want to, the problem is we get indoors and we think, okay, this is my normal environment. But when you go outside, that's technically supposed to be your normal environment. Your body's not made to function at 70-something degrees all the time and live where you live. If you live in Arkansas, for my example, you don't need to get yourself into the situation where your body cannot function properly outside of 70-something degrees. You have to be able to go both high temperatures and low temperatures, because you get both in Arkansas. Well, you're going to get both almost everywhere you live in the world. So you want to have your body be able to acclimate to both. And getting that, like we talked about last time, getting your comfort range into a larger area, you're going into that larger span of temperatures, your body will love you for it. It will function so much better being able to do that. It increases your body's ability to adapt, and that's what you really, really want to have. So that is that myth, that you just shouldn't exercise in the cold. In fact, there's stuff to the opposite of it. Another point is that if you exercise in the cold, a lot of the times your body will be able to better handle slightly higher temperatures too, higher than what you're used to, because your body is used to regulating its core temperature a lot better. So, moving on. Next myth is allergies go away in the winter. That definitely isn't true. They cite a bit of information from Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, and it says that 1 in 5 people suffer from indoor-outdoor allergies, and the indoor allergy and the indoor variety can actually be worse in the winter. This is definitely true, because you're not getting as much airflow into that house in the wintertime. You're just not. You have to keep everything closed up to keep the heat in, right? Well, that means you're actually concentrating, unless you're using filters and stuff like that. And even when you are, you're still having to filter out more because it's not going out other ways. It's not being open and moving with the wind out other ways. So you're going to have to monitor your filters if you've got breathing problems or stuff like that. Those of you that are using the essential oils that I talk about, the respiratory blends, are definitely going to be your friend if you have allergies and asthma or things like that in this time period. They definitely support your body in dealing with that. So I would strongly encourage people to look into that if they have problems with their respiratory system. But that specific thing aside, this is general. Your general air quality is going to be lessened in the wintertime for indoor people. For people that stay indoors a lot, your general air quality will actually be less, because you won't be having that same airflow that you usually have. Even if you don't have asthma or allergies, you may get stuffier more often. You may have coughs or tickles in your throat more often, because that dust that usually fluctuates out and you get fresher air in warmer temperatures doesn't happen. So keep that in mind, that this is a myth. Goodness. Sorry about that for anybody who was listening with their headphones in. Next myth. You don't need sunscreen in the winter. If you're out in the sun, I am not a big proponent of sunscreen in the first place. And that's another subject for another time. But if you are a person that wears sunscreen, you don't need to forego it in the winter, because what you get is that well, let's look at what they say, and then we will look at my remarks. The quote they use is, because the Earth's surface is closer to the sun during the winter months, we are actually exposed to more harmful rays without realizing it, says Robert. I don't like the font on this. Robert Gilda, MD, a board-certified plastic surgeon in New York City. What's more, snow and ice can both reflect up to 80% of harmful UV rays, so that they can hit the skin twice, according to Skin Cancer Foundation. They're technically not hitting your skin twice, but yes, I get the analogy that they're making. I get what they're trying to say there. That you get it from above and below. You're getting hit with that again, not necessarily just twice, but again. So it reflects that surface in a similar way to how the moon ends up reflecting the radiation and the light from the sun. This ends up and it changes too. This ends up reflecting that radiation. So that snow and that ice will reflect that those UV rays. And that pretty much said whatever I wanted to say about it. So if you are a person that uses sunscreen, use some in the wintertime too, if you're going to be out and doing stuff. So, I thought this one was funny because of all those things you see with the St. Bernards with that liquor around their on their collar and stuff. The myth is drinking alcohol warms you up. That's not actually true. What they say is alcohol makes you feel toasty on the inside, but that's because it causes blood to rush toward your rosy red skin and away from your internal organs. That means your core body temperature actually drops post-sip, Dr. Vreeman says. And that is true. It impairs your body's ability to regulate your temperature appropriately is a big thing that's happening there. The reason they did that when you were in dire situations like with the St. Bernard is that they wanted to get you moving and up and away. They wanted to do that. They felt like it warmed you up, and it does feel like you warmed up, but you're not actually raising your core temperature. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're needing to keep your core temperature up, you do not drink alcohol to do that. It only makes you feel warmer. It does not actually affect your core temperature to raise it. In fact, any time that you eat something, in the wintertime it's noticeable, but anytime you eat something, like if you're in a cool restaurant, even in the summertime, and you're eating, and you kind of sit back and you wait for a little bit, you wait a couple minutes and you feel a slight coolness come over your skin. You start to feel cool again. But that's because the blood is rushing to your internal organs to digest your food. It's trying to do that. A similar thing starts to happen in a way when you're doing with alcohol, but it has that effect that the stuff rushes to your skin instead. Alcohol is a toxic substance that people ingest for different results. It technically is a toxin that people are ingesting for certain results that they want. And so when you do that, it forces your body to go opposite of what it's needing to do. When it comes to, and what it's supposed to do is like when you get that cool feeling after you get food, it's supposed to stay down there and digest stuff. So a thing that you want to do, a thing that you want to remember when it comes to keeping warm in the wintertime is that your core temperature is king. If your core temperature is good, you're usually good elsewhere. It may not feel as good, but you usually are good. Alright. Myth. You lose most of your body heat through your head. Okay, so Contrary to findings from one 1950s Army study, most of your body heat doesn't escape through your noggin, according to Dr. Vreeman. The quote they use is, in the now infamous study, volunteers visited the Arctic with their heads exposed. However, the rest of them, they had a typo there. However, the rest of them were outfitted in gear designed to protect against the cold. So it's logical that most of their body heat escaped, is what should be there, from their heads, she says. If you go outside without gloves, you lose a disproportionate amount of heat through your hands. So heat escapes, period. Okay, if you're uncovered, you will lose heat through those areas. If you are in cold temperatures, wear gloves and a hat. It's kind of that simple. Keep your body, your skin covered. If you have the choice, when it comes with your body heat and losing it through your skin and stuff, if you have a choice, it is better to have all of your skin covered than to have just your head and your hands and your feet covered with something really, really warm. You want to have the most surface available covered. If you had thinner gloves and thinner shirt and thinner pants, you would actually help your core temperature more because you lose less heat through those exposed areas than you would otherwise. So you want to have your skin in general covered because your skin is designed to lose heat. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to lose heat. It's how you cool yourself. We sweat to cool ourselves. We lose heat through our skin on purpose. Our body's designed that way. So keep just your general self covered. Don't just cover your head and expect to be good, type thing. Myth: women gain 10 pounds over the winter. This is nothing to do whether it's wintertime or not. If you eat more, we talked about this last time too. If you eat more junk food in the wintertime, don't expect to not gain weight in the wintertime. So, let me see. Between comfort foods, dreary days, and cozy blankets, it's not hard to imagine why women put on a winter weight. But it turns out that the average woman only gains about 2 pounds over the winter. Still, one nutrition reviews study shows that weight gain during the 6-week holiday season accounts for 51% of annual weight gain. And according to research published in the New York England Journal of Medicine, most women don't shed the extra layer of insulation come springtime. So over the years, the weight can really add up. That's the big deal. What you do afterward. The idea that you're getting those comfort foods and stuff, that's really what's contributing to the weight gain. It's not winter itself. The cold and the heat do not make you, they don't make you lose or gain weight. It's your diet that makes you lose or gain weight. They can assist in losing weight, but they do not make you lose weight. Okay? Just because it's cold, you can't blame that on gaining weight. And just because it's hot doesn't mean you can blame it on losing weight. It's also what you're doing, your specific doings about it. So remember that one. Myth: vitamin C prevents colds. This is not. This actually is something that a lot of people in the health industry still look at. Well, let's see what they say, and then I'll make my remarks. Okay, this might be more of a half myth, is what they say. Meeting your 75 milligram requirement daily allowance of vitamin C is important in maintaining a healthy immune system to prevent and even fight off colds, according to one 2013 study from the University of Helsinki. Other studies have shown that taking a large dose of vitamin C at the first sign of sniffles may help shorten the length and reduce the severity of a cold. So, they don't outright say that it's not true, but they don't outright say that it is true. And that is because Your immune system has more factors to consider than just how much vitamin C you're getting. Okay, vitamin C helps, but it does not prevent colds. Your immune system, not the drugs, not anything, not drugs, vitamins, or minerals, your immune system is what is going to affect how well you fight off a cold. Now, you can do things to support your immune system, but you're not going to get past your immune system. If your immune system is in the gutter, so will your health be. I mean, you won't be able to fight off those colds. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. Okay? But if you support your immune system, whether that's with essential oils, whether that's with vitamins, with minerals, with... I don't advocate prescription drug use for improving immune systems, because that's not how they're designed to work. But if that's what you want to do, that is your decision. I am not your master. I am your advisor. So, anyway, that's that. In general, I actually encourage you to get plenty of vitamin C, period. Okay? There's actually something that the Native Americans used to do. They liked pine needle tea. Pine needles, when prepared in tea like that, they maintain about 300, I think the last time I read it was about 300 times the amount of vitamin C in an orange. That's substantial. And it can help improve the hardiness of it can help support the hardiness of your immune system. So, myth: cold temperatures cause hair loss. No. Chilly weather, they say, chilly weather might actually help you hold on to your hair. In one university hospital of Zurich study, researchers followed 823 women over 6 years and found that they lost the most hair in the summer and the least in the winter. It might be evolutionary. Just think how thick your dog's fur, blah 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 blah, dry and so. They do suggest you might need to invest in scalp protecting shampoo for the season, stuff like that. So, what this actually boils down to is, the myth is cold temperatures cause hair loss. The fact is, no, they don't. It's that simple. And they cite evolutionary stuff. I don't really think it's natural. Yes, it is a natural thing that you don't. The reason is, like they brought up, your dog's fur. Animals and humans are based off of an animal. They are considered by most to be animals, or at least body-wise we are. We don't lose fur. This is our fur. We don't lose fur when it's cold. We gain fur. We hold on to our fur. That's important to understand. That's just how it naturally goes. You keep your fur. You want to keep warm. We've got fur up here to keep warm. We've got fur on our arms to keep warm, and so on and so forth. Now, breeding and stuff like that, your genetics are going to affect how much hair you have. But in general, remember, we're talking about in general, you don't lose hair in the wintertime. In fact, you lose more hair in the summertime because your body's needing to get rid of that heat, so it just kind of clears off all that fur that you have. It thins out your fur. So that's normal. Don't worry about that. You just want to make sure that your scalp is taken care of. Like they point out here, you want to make sure that your scalp is taken care of. All right, last one. Lack of sunlight causes winter depression. This goes back to that SAD thing, seasonal affective disorder. Let's see what they say, and then I'll make my statements. While dark days certainly don't help, there are many other factors besides seasonal affective disorder that can contribute to winter depression, especially around the holidays. Busy schedules, family stress, and worries about holiday spending are more likely to trigger the blues than true SAD, or seasonal affective disorder, which affects just 5% of Americans. Now that is a good point. That is definitely a good point. I don't see the lack of sunlight actually is a contributing factor towards depression, but true seasonal affective disorder, again, is only diagnosed in 5% of Americans. So you likely are not a 5%er. I'm just sorry to tell you, you can't, unless your doctor has said you have that, you probably don't. What instead it is the lack of sunlight. It predisposes your melatonin to be lower. Melatonin helps with sleep patterns. Sleep patterns affect your mood in general. So they affect your feelings and your mood. There's two different things there under emotion, but they affect your emotions. And that's more likely to affect depression, as well as the stresses and the schedules and the worries and stuff like that. There's a lot of factors. So you can't just blame the sunlight, because lots of people are really happy in the wintertime. And a lot more than 5% of the population are happy in the wintertime versus those that have seasonal affective disorder. So don't jump to diagnoses with yourself. Don't diagnose yourself just because you think you might. Okay? You are stronger than you think. All right? So that is everything I have for today. We will come around and take care of all of the questions or anything that may have popped up during the broadcast. If you have any questions, comments, or observations, please feel free to send them to us or get them to us somehow. You can Facebook. I do have Twitter, and it notifies me when I get something there. I'm not super active on it, I'll tell you right now. But Facebook, Twitter, and we prefer questions and requests to be sent by email. So you can also send them by email. That is adam@theedenwellnessalliance.com, or you can just do adam.theeden@gmail.com. Either email works. I encourage you to come to our webpage. We post all these up there, as well as our YouTube channel. You can leave questions and comments or observations in the doobly-doo down below. So, in the questions, comments, and observations section down below. But anyway, we are done for today. So, I appreciate your attention and everything. Have a great day. God bless and enjoy.